We've postponed this episode one day just so that we could talk about Bucks in 6. I predicted it, baby. I don't care if I change my prediction later on.
I hated that Bucks won because we had to admit that you were right. But we'll talk about how in a second. We'll talk about how happy I am for Giannis. Actually,
that's good stuff,
cool.
man.
Carry on.
So yes, the Bucks beat the Phoenix Suns. The Milwaukee Bucks beat the Phoenix Suns in 6 games with a victory last night. I think it ended up 105-90 something, 99, 98. 7-point victory.
Yeah.
Stamped by the Finals MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who finished with a 50-point double-double with 5 blocks and multiple assists. Hell of a performance. I believe no one's done that in the finals before since Basketball Reference started keeping track of stats in 1983. All their stats go back to 1983. They haven't been a website for that long, I hope. Hell of a performance. Crazy for this to be where the Bucks end up. But where I actually want to start, just to catch you guys off guard, is I remember we had an episode a few weeks ago where we were talking about takesies, backsies, and stuff like that, and talking about our predictions. And Jose had the Bucks in the finals against the Nuggets, so that side didn't come true. He was like, never gonna happen. I was like, could still happen. Wouldn't give up hope. Gave up hope, and at least half of it was right. So how do you feel, Jose? Correctly predicted half the finals.
I feel pretty good. I feel pretty shit actually because I wanted the Nuggets to win. But hey, good for the Bucks. Good for the Bucks, man. Yeah, thank you. By the way, Dave, for bringing up those memories. You're good. You're good. Thank you.
Hey man,
always delivering.
Got to keep the fans abreast of what's happened in the past, and let them know what's going to happen in the future. I can't wait for our top 10 lists already. I'm already excited.
Wow. Well, we don't have a lot of time, do we?
No.
Get a redo on that one.
We already know who's not on it.
And that brings us back to the present, where Giannis likes to stay in the present.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just a hell of a performance, man. I'll let you guys talk about it.
I think it's the best finals performance I've witnessed.
This game 6 performance.
Yeah. 50 points and 5 blocks. And they were like triple teaming him and stuff. It's
ridiculous.
It's insane. And the win, more importantly, closeout game, win. It's win or go back to theirs for game 7 as well. So it's really like high pressure.
Yeah.
Insane.
And also the lack of spacing that they got, right? Like I think both teams together combined for 12 3-pointers in the entire game. Bucks had 6, Suns had 6. So they were really able to collapse on him and people were just throwing up bricks and he was still able to get an efficient 50 off. Thanks in no small part to going 17 of 19 from the line.
Yep. and that's the thing. They tried to do that to get him out of his rhythm, and he sinks 17 out of 19.
17 out of 19. Like, I think if he'd been around his playoff average, it would have been like a 1-point game. Like, it really made a difference in making it a comfortable victory.
Well, you can't do shit with him if he's hitting his free throws. It's like, cool, stop that. Go on. Like,
it's like he overcame his weakness, and that's when he was invincible that game. He was invincible.
Hit a couple of fadeaways, a couple of floaters, and a 3. Tom. And a 3, Tom. He actually pointed at Tom in the crowd when he hit it.
He did. I was there. But you know what? Though, there's one thing I've learned every time there was a final, like in any sports, like, to not talk shit about the opponent's weakness during this. And what did CP3 said? Oh, we expect him to miss all the free throws. Then what happened in the last game? Bang! Like, there's one thing I've learned from all the defeats in finals from all the teams that supports. Like, there's always somebody running their fucking mouth. And then what happens when this game, whatever it is that decides the whole thing, the person you were talking shit about does that thing that you were talking shit about. It's like, they can't hit a three. He can't hit a three. Well, guess what do you think he'll do in the last game? Deciding. Shut up, CP3.
I think that what's amazing, and this is a bit off of basketball, right? Like, I've been watching videos of Giannis like whole day, man, because I just been obsessed with his journey, right? Like 10 years ago, this guy was, selling stuff on the street with his mom, and if they didn't sell enough, they couldn't eat, So it's so relatable with any sort of struggle that you've ever had in your life. Like, and he said it, right? Like, you can do it. If anybody tells you can't do it, just don't believe it. Just keep going. It's just so unbelievable for me what this guy has done. Like, from most improved player to defensive player, 2-time MVP, All-Star MVP, Finals MVP. Like, this guy, he's unbelievable, and I still think he's underrated. Because we are not talking about him the way we should be talking about him.
I don't know, man.
That's because he's young.
I think that changes from today, probably.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to be honest, I agree. Like, it's changing, but think of the way we're going to be talking about him in 5 or 10 years. When he achieves more things, because he's achieved this, and like, it's amazing, man. The body transformation, the mindset, the work ethic, all the stories that you hear on his first year when he was running late for a practice, and he started running to the practice. Stuff like that, like sending money to his family in Greece via Western Union, and he sent all the money that they had in the branch, like stuff like that. Like, he just the struggle was real for this guy. So when he's like cursing, when he got the mic and stuff, like, it's real. So I think that makes it even more valuable. So I just want to say that, like, it's just amazing, man. Hats off. Amazing performance basketball wise, but also the struggle was real and the guy made it. So hey, anybody can do it.
There's a few stories coming off of all the things you just said. So he that was his sentiment when he was asked about the influence that this win would have on Greece and kids in Nigeria as well, the two countries where he's from, and he made sure to reference both of them. But then he wanted to correct that by saying anyone, like literally anyone who wants to achieve something, this is proof that you can do it. And he referenced the fact that he used to sell things on the street, and his mom did the same. And then with the not eating thing, like, if they didn't earn enough, they wouldn't eat. But what isn't mentioned a lot of times, but was in the Giannis documentary, which I listened to a podcast from a couple of months ago, he would earn, and then sometimes he would buy food for the family off of what he earned on the streets. And then if there wasn't enough for everyone, he would be the one to sacrifice his food. And sometimes he would wake up in the morning, go and sell. If he had school that day, he would go to school, come home, sell some more, and then go to basketball practice, and have done all of that without eating because they didn't earn enough. Right? So he'd go on an empty stomach for the whole day. Make sure his little brothers eat first, and then if there's not enough for him, he'd go and literally train on an empty stomach as well.
It's hot in Greece, man, as well.
I mean, I'm sweating here right now, and I haven't even lifted a basketball. It pales in comparison to Greece. And then
it is incredible. Like,
with the whole story of him and getting to practice, sending the money, he sent all of his money. He sent all the money that he had back to his mum in Greece, and then he ended up hitching a ride with a fan to the arena for one of his games.
It's mad. It's mad. And I think,
Truly insane.
and that was kind of like an underrated thing when he re-signed with the Bucks, right? Because they offered him the supermax, of course, and like when he's come from that, you know, like you put in a bit of paper that has 100 million on it in front of him. It's kind of like, and I think the loyalty thing helps as well. Like, but
200 million.
200. Yeah. Sorry. That
Only
was
the biggest contract in NBA history.
Yeah. I meant the hundreds of
Sure.
once you get past that sort of thing. But once you come back from, like, when you come from where he's come from and had to do the things that he's had to do, like, that means a lot to him. And you can tell, like, you were saying about, like, some of the stuff that he's talked about. Like, he's a really humble guy. He's not a bad role model to have out there. That's for sure.
That's all.
Awesome.
And he's funny
It's
too.
it's very relatable to who else behaves that. I think it's Lillard also, who's, I think, was asked once, like, pressure of basketball and
Kyle Lowry.
Like, was it Larry? Somebody said, what pressure? It's just a sport. Like, some people can't put foot on the table, and we're just there playing a game. So it's nice to have a refreshing, if not story, but mindset that is different.
Grounded people, they're very grounded.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, he's getting better. Like we talked about it last week. Like, he's still improving. I don't know what this will do for him, but like it still seems like he's hungry to improve, to know where his weaknesses are, and to try and train them out of his game. So you're saying, like, what he's going to be like in 5 years. Is he 25 or 26? 26.
It's unbelievable, man.
Think also that he was playing on one leg in the fight.
I think he was healthy.
Injury.
I don't think we can say that. I think he was healthy. I think he was. I'm not willing to go that far.
But so if he was healthy, it's because of his work ethic made him that strong that he can survive that kind of injury. Because we all saw it. Any other player in the NBA would have been, 6 months off, not playing. And he's gonna play he's gonna go to Tokyo apparently.
No,
Greece didn't make it.
No, he isn't.
Greece didn't make
Is he
it.
not?
Greece
is not in there. But
of course. Oh, okay. Well, he's not then. Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You might go and watch.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the opposite.
That's what I heard. He's gonna go to Tokyo to watch the games. to watch the swimming.
Is he gonna switch nationality to Nigerian?
Save the spot. I wouldn't be surprised if he's called the opposite, that they'll come out and say, hey, actually he might miss some time. I don't know. I have a feeling there's no way with that motion he had that there's nothing messed up on that knee. Still human, man. Still human.
I was watching him fly around, and like I referenced the plays that didn't make the highlights. For the most part, it was a bunch of like defensive plays, and I think he at some point he stole the ball from Chris Paul. There was also a few blocks in this game and a couple of blocks in the last game, which were called either goaltending or something like that. Which, when you showed the replay, actually it probably wasn't.
In game six, there's like two or three that was massively goaltending.
You think the 8-1 was as well?
Yeah. There's a bunch of them that already touched the board. Some of them that are like on their way down already, but they were called though, so it's not.
And the effect of those goaltendings, the basket counts, but it feels like a block for the other team.
Exactly.
It's like, do you see that transition from Booker when he goes and it's like he still makes the bucket, but you still have Giannis tracking him down and hitting the board, but not missing completely the ball, but like hitting the ball. And those, and I remember watching this, I was like, you know what? You made the basket, but it's a pain because you know at any moment you can just come out of nowhere and just destroy it.
And it's like
mentally.
It takes us back to prime LeBron, right? Like you have a transition bucket. Oh no, you don't. Like
no, you don't.
The way that he's running the floor is just insane, and he did it a few times on the defensive end and caught up to the people and got the block quite emphatically a few times. A couple were goaltends, but yeah, like you say, it puts it in your head that, oh, you think you're open. No, don't ever think you're open. Don't ever think you're open. He's coming. He's coming. He might not get there, but he's coming. He puts that fear in you.
Do you know the one note I have? So I watched the entire game this afternoon. I was like, I was in heaven because it felt like a European game, like little threes, defense, intensity. I was like, oh my God, I'm watching EuroLeague basketball. What's going on? It's amazing. Nobody, and they called some trouble. They had trouble.
Yeah,
they called the trouble on Giannis.
Yeah,
I was like, yes. Yes, finally.
Also, I think we need to highlight that when you just mentioned like little tricks, like Devin Booker had multiple 40-point games with like 6 threes. You know, like that's incredible. Like this guy, he's playing so well. You know, he's the future of the league along with Giannis, and he's not shooting threes. So what's that tell you? You know that he might be changing the game again. Like he might be going old school. Like he found a way. He learned from CP3, like because Chris Paul is shooting tremendously well as well from 2-point range. So
did you see the amount of
that as well? It's super refreshing.
Of like mid-range twos, the amount of them. Like
I think that's what he's referring to, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's so many of them. I was like,
I think it was too many. I think that's why they lost.
Never too many.
Okay.
I do.
What did they lost?
They lost because of that.
Well,
Booker
was 0 for 7 from 3. If we want to get into this side of it.
In this game in particular, but I think ultimately part of what the Bucks game plan was well, if they're going to take these mid-rangers, at least we're going to keep them from the rim because we have 2 of the best rim protectors in the league playing on the floor at the same time. And they even got away with bringing Bobby Portis off the bench and playing him with Lopez and Giannis. Was that the third quarter? When Portis started going crazy.
That was in the fourth as well. He had like the start of the fourth when he was going mental. He had crazy eyes.
Yeah, he did.
Always does.
And then they locked down their corner threes. Like, I don't think they got over 6 attempts in the last 4 games, which they all lost. So then they were getting a steady diet of 2s, and eventually Chris Paul started to miss his mid-ranges, right? Booker continued to hit them. He didn't have a great game 6, but eventually Chris Paul started missing them, and he started missing open shots in the mid-range as well. And I just think it's not necessarily that, if he had taken a 3 instead of a mid-range, he would have made it. No, that's not what I'm saying. But the fact that they were willing to take the less efficient shot meant that it was easier to game plan them out of taking more efficient shots.
Yeah. They were willing to sort of settle.
Yeah,
that's what you mean. So you push them to settle.
Yeah.
No, I think that's one of the things. I think there's a few things that led to the Suns' demise. I would say 4 in a row for the Bucks. Did not see that coming at all. But it seemed like there was something up with Paul. Whether it is the season's too long, too condensed, he just burned out. Whether it's age catching up to him, whether it's an injury, whatever it is. That was not the CP3 that we saw in the first round. Right.
Lots of turnovers,
lots of turnovers, which is just definitely not him. He's got one of the best assist to turnover ratios ever, right? It's that's not how he plays. So and part of that you've got to credit to Jrue Holiday as well, right?
Yeah,
he's been incredible.
Oh my gosh, is it Jrue time?
Well, I don't know. We're kind of going all over the place with this, but with the Suns, Booker was great until he wasn't, and he had a couple of games where he really wasn't, and that last game was one of them, and he's shown himself to be one of the elite players in the league now. I think this is his first playoff season in the league, and he stepped up definitely, but there's just a few games where he wasn't quite consistent, and maybe the shot wasn't going, and he needed something else, and maybe it's somebody else as well. But I think that just wasn't quite there. But yeah, I mean, you look at that Suns team and Frank Kaminsky being out there, who was just like,
that's when you knew it was over.
Giannis is like, all right, let's go.
Ayton sucked though. Like he wasn't ready to get the ball. Like his hands weren't ready every time. Like every time they find him in the inside, it was like
that's where you see the lack of experience, don't you? Like he's what 20? Is he 21?
He's 20. Like, he's
third season, I think.
Yeah, I mean he looks like David Robinson.
Age.
Looks old, but he's not old. He's a 22 max. So he's he has a massive future ahead of him. So he's gonna be a championship caliber player. He's just not there right now. And it took Giannis 7 seasons to get there. So fair enough.
Exactly.
I agree with you, Tom. Like he looked terrible. Like Ayton in the last 2 games actually. He just had a couple, but it's just time, isn't it?
Yeah, and then also like a lot of people played Bandit in this game. Like Tom was saying, it looked like a European game with the defenses. There was like double-digit turnovers in the first.
The first quarter was just horrible.
First quarter almost, like definitely in the first half, they had like 20 something combined, 26 or so combined. And these are 2 teams who have had games in this series where they've had less than like 6 or 7 turnovers in the entire game. So it was a sloppy game and lots of people shot the ball poorly. So I wouldn't necessarily like put that on Booker or put that on Ayton. I think everyone was tense except for Giannis.
And Portis.
Bobby P. Bobby P was ready.
Booker and Ayton not being on is massive for the Suns.
Absolutely.
I mean, Chris Paul still put up quite decent.
He
numbers.
played a decent game. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're not going to have Booker and Ayton sort of at the top of their game, it's a tough task.
But you see, that's going back to what I said at some point. I think in the previews we were saying like the battle of the number 2 and like whoever. Between Booker and I was going to say Kate Middleton, bloody hell, Khris Middleton.
I heard she can ball though. Yeah, she's
the princess.
Yeah, she can.
Booker's number 1, Chris Paul's number 2.
I was going to say like, oh, this is what we're.
I don't really. I don't know whose team is this right now. It's
who had the 240 burgers. I don't know what kind of burger you had.
I mean, Booker's the best player, but I think
the captain
Chris Paul maybe has like more impact. On the team as a whole.
In terms of getting
in terms of
involved,
who the boss. In terms of who the boss.
That's what we say.
It's Chris Paul's team. Paul. Who the boss?
The boss. See, you're gonna get Devin Booker to trade him with all this boss talk.
I would love it.
You're gonna ask Devin Booker how Chris Paul is as a father figure to him, aren't you? It'll be the Kyrie issue all over again.
Yeah.
Ask for a trade.
Ask for a trade. I mean, you should. It's the right time. But no, Kate Middleton played well, and she definitely,
good series.
She couldn't run in the fourth quarter, but then she hit a couple mid-range too, so it was quite
closer. Hit the closing too, fade
so
away
clutch.
To the right.
Yep.
Very clutch.
Yeah, man.
Well deserved.
And it's just crazy that those two, like the Giannis and Middleton, were on the Bucks team that finished last in the East.
That's amazing. These guys stayed around.
And
give me hope as a Knicks fan.
Wait,
again, all these things make this championship way more valuable,
Hang on, no, I didn't even catch that. Giannis and Khris Middleton were on it when the Bucks had the worst record.
Team that had the worst record,
Damn, when was that? How many years ago?
Like 8 years ago.
Yeah, their first year,
Yeah. Yeah. And then this, and like Giannis said in his press conference, like, I've done everything. I've been every player in this league. I've come off the bench. I've gone and asked them to send me to the G League. Like, I've been the player that doesn't play at all. He said, I've done it all. Like, everything that could happen to you as a player, it's happened to me. And now I'm here. Like, it's just crazy. That's why he was crying. That's what he was thinking when he was sitting down crying, sitting on the chairs. Just the journey, right? Because you don't normally get
makes him so happy, man. Like, it's just crazy, isn't it? Like, I didn't care, to be honest. I wanted the Suns to win it just slightly more because of Chris Paul, but just learning all this, it's like, dude, you deserve it.
Yeah.
Right? Oof.
Yeah. I wasn't crying though.
You were.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
You're crying.
And then Khris Middleton is a second-round pick. He was a small part of a Kyle Singler trade. Kyle Singler was the star.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Is that Detroit?
Where's he now?
Yeah, it was to Detroit. Yeah, Middleton was drafted by them, and just thrown into the trade. And NBA champion.
There you go.
Dropped 40 in the finals. He had 40, right?
He had one game. No, I don't think so. He had 40 during the season at some point. In the playoffs too.
Oh, I thought he had. Okay. What was his big game? One of the finals games he had.
I felt like he did, yeah.
Was it 30 plus?
He had a bunch of 40.
I think he scored like 15 on the last quarter or something like that, but that was it.
He had 40. He had 40 in game
4 or 5? 4.
Game 4.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. Well,
Just unbelievable. And like, it's easy to forget what the expectations were when he came into the league. When you hear people talking about him, is he an all-star? Is he not an all-star? Blah blah blah, and all of that stuff. Like, ultimately, I'm sure from his perspective, it's like, well, who cares whether I'm an all-star or not? I was a second-round pick. I wasn't supposed to be anywhere near this good.
Yeah, right.
And now look at me with a chip.
Yeah.
No, there you go. That's it.
As the second best player on a championship team.
Is he though? Do you have him over Jrue?
No.
I think so.
Offensively,
Jrue had like 3 good games, man. The last 3. That's it.
All of the
offensively, yes, but he had a fantastic season, like defensively.
I still think Middleton is better, man. Like, and he's been better for a while. Like, Jrue is a fantastic addition and could step up eventually if Middleton is injured or not there or whatever. But right now, it's Middleton.
Yeah, and Middleton is a very good defender as well.
And just think of it this way: like, if Giannis is not playing, who'd you give the last ball to?
Well, yeah, but offensively, Middleton is the better player. Like, I'm completely comfortable with that. I'm just saying that the what Jrue Holiday brings isn't just putting the ball in the basket.
Is it Jrue time?
I agree. 100%.
It's Jrue time.
He's a leader.
Time.
It's good.
See, and the thing with Jrue that makes this so great is, like, a year ago, right? All the bubble stuff was going on. He decided to not play and donate his salary to a bunch of local charities. His wife was sick, so he helped her out for a really long stretch. I think that was a year where he was like injured, and he decided not to come back just to help her deal with what she was going through as well. And like, I think he won the community award, right, this year, for all of the charity stuff he did last year, and that was in not playing, right? He set up a bunch of stuff, started a bunch of stuff, and then got the reward for that this year. And then he was the man who was overpaid, right? Like, Giannis rolled up on him and was like, this guy and his contract, like, 200 million or 100 and what was it, 160 million or whatever they gave him over 4 years. Jrue was like, me, my money? He gave him the Bobby Porter size. And yeah, three picks. Likely the reason that Bogdanovic didn't sign his contract to come to the Bucks, just because he knew that Jrue was going to get paid out and there wouldn't be enough for him at the end of the year. And he balled out. Not only did he ball out, he did have his offensive struggles, but defense, man. Oh my God. Not just the defensive playmaking, because I think obviously the Steelers going to make the headlines and stuff like that. One of the best defensive plays I've seen in the finals. But just the way that he would just switch from Paul to Booker to Paul to Booker to Paul, and just whichever one he was guarding wasn't getting shit. It's just, you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get anything. Nothing.
What a player.
Unbelievable.
And you saw the difference every time he was off the floor. And Chris Paul was getting a pick. Like, they were struggling to contain Chris Paul. Like, he was getting to his shot comfortably. But then when Holiday was back on, then it was a different story. Like,
he disappeared.
Yeah,
he disappeared.
Well, I mean, man, like, look at the difference between like last year and this year. Like Bledsoe and having Jrue in that spot, like it's a completely different thing. It's not. It's the stable hands as well. Like it's the Chris Paul effect. If you will, like it's sort of knowing that he's going to make a good decision. He's comfortable. He's going to be sort of safe with the ball, as well. Like I do think that has a big impact on teams.
He never lost confidence, right? Because there were people comparing his performance to Bledsoe's performance, because there was a certain point where their stats were identical. I think it was either in the last round or the round before that. They were shooting the same percentages, scoring roughly the same points and everything. And it was like, oh, this is the guy that we traded a bunch of assets for, like all of our assets for, and paid for the next 4 years at the age of 31. But then I think the difference between him and Bledsoe was Jrue never lost confidence. He never stopped shooting. There was no point where he didn't want the ball. He just stayed even keel, kept playing, kept being aggressive. And eventually his shot started to fall.
I mean, that's it. Like, I think he's one of those players where he's sort of comfortable that his value does not sort of lie within the number of points that he scores in the game. I think he's aware that he needs to be able to score to maximize what he's going to be able to do and maximize what the team can do, but that is not everything. You know?
Yeah.
He's a mature guy. He's a mature player that's sort of smart.
Yep. All three of them, great players, better people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think he can be better than what Giannis is doing on the court right now. What does he have to do?
Oh, you have different levels of, greatness. So he's up there.
And then we can't leave this topic without bringing up the coaches. Like Budenholzer finally made the adjustments. He had made them earlier in the playoffs as well and earlier in the season as well, but he stuck to not being stubborn and trying different things, trying different lineups. I don't think Jeff T got many minutes in this game. I don't remember seeing him much at all.
Wasn't there. He pretty much had 7 players. 7 players rotation.
And Forbes didn't play at all.
Didn't play the whole series.
Quite surprising,
not that surprising if you saw what he did in the Nets series.
Fair enough.
Shortened the rotation, played the big guns, big minutes from the second round onwards, even parts of the first round besides the blowouts. Finally did it, and this is his reward, a championship. His job was likely on the line, according to media reports, if they didn't make it far enough in the playoffs. And I guess this is far enough in the playoffs, right?
I mean, you can try harder to go somewhere further, but else.
Sweep in the finals. Sweep or nothing.
Sweep
or you're fired.
Can you rock into that meeting? It's like, it wasn't a sweep, man. You're gone.
You need to beat the Toon Squad now. Yeah?
No, I mean he had a reputation. He had a reputation for being a great regular season coach and not being able to produce it in the playoffs. And I think that's probably a good thing to have off his back.
Yeah,
100%.
For sure. And then
Monty
Williams.
Yo, if you want a great,
he went to the.
Yeah, so if you want a great combo, you want Monty Williams coaching Giannis, and it'll be like freaking Saint Hoods reigning.
The most humble team.
The most humble team you ever played. God.
Did you see him in the locker room?
Yeah, in the locker room. I was like, oh
my God. What a guy. But also his press conference, where he literally could not speak because he was so emotional about what the journey meant to him and how he literally said, I don't take this for granted. Like, it was really hard to get here. So he was so happy to be in the finals, That's what you want from people, don't you? Like, we've seen it for so long, And I'm not saying it's wrong, because if you are on top for a long time, you get used to it. So you get frustrated if you lose a game, blah, blah. But this guy, he was like, I'm just happy to be here, mate. Same as Giannis, because Giannis basically said that, I'm just happy to be here, right?
Yeah.
Be here, winning with my finals MVP trophy.
Well, obviously. Yeah.
I know we're not a tennis podcast, but there was a moment that happened at Wimbledon a few years ago where Roger Federer beat Andy Roddick in the final for the umpteenth time. And Federer said in his winning speech, Andy, I know what it's like to be you, having lost here to Rafa Nadal. And Roddick just yells out, yeah, but you'd already won one.
Yes.
Humble.
So
see?
Oh, man.
Oh, mate.
Americans are great.
But
yeah, actually, those two Monty Williams moments came back to back. He went into the changing room just after coming out of the press conference and made that speech to the Bucks. Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, I think that enhances the story. But yeah,
he had a great speech in the locker room to the Suns after they went out in the bubble last year as well. Basically saying that he was incredibly proud of them, and he didn't think that was the pinnacle of what they could achieve. And look at them now. Look at them now. I
Western
think,
Conference champions.
Yeah, I just think that they didn't, and their sort of backroom staff didn't expect them to go this far. They didn't have a roster that was set up to win the finals, right? Like they weren't able to attract sort of the free agents that some people were able to attract. If they've now got these expectations and people can see them as a true contender, what they're going to be able to do next year is going to be quite interesting to see.
Oof.
And he's a great coach. I really I like him. I'm pissed that they took him from Philly.
Yeah.
They were like, no, Brett Brown's our guy. Yeah, great. Fucking
it's the coaches you miss out on, ain't it? It's fine. You guys have got Doc Rivers. He has a great track record of good things.
Working well so far. God.
Anyway, yeah, I guess the last thing I have on the finals is just a Giannis joke. During his press conference, he was sitting there and he turned to I think he kissed the championship trophy and then turned to the finals MVP trophy and said, "Don't get jealous."
It's a lot of time for it.
Just as these stiff reporters are trying to ask their questions, he's just in there goofing around.
In
Also
the third
requested
quarter.
It's also requested a trade. So
Oh
Yeah.
that was hilarious.
So can I get traded now?
Because they brought up a quote from his rookie year where he said he's not leaving until he wins a championship because they had lost so many games in a row. He said, "Screw it, I'm not leaving until we win a championship." And he said, "Cool, we've won one. I'm out. We don't have to speak
Lakers, let's go.
LeBron, you there?
I want that Hollywood money.
it's going to the Nets.
It's good to...
Yeah, man.
That'd be hilarious.
But yeah, happy times, man. Happy times. Great game as well. Great game. If you haven't seen it, watch it back.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Should we talk a little Olympics since we're gonna be doing some coverage? They kick off on Sunday. Is that too soon? I can't believe it's Sunday.
3 days.
So that means the Olympics start
before, right?
this week.
Yeah,
the Olympics started already.
It's just started already, man.
Yeah, with football.
GB
Team GB played today actually.
Yeah, Team USA lost to Sweden 3-0. Take that.
Really?
And the Netherlands beat Zambia 10-3 in women's football.
Conceded 3 bums.
Conceded 3, yeah.
No, the Netherlands have some really freaking good players. They were excellent at the women's Euros. But okay, the Olympics has begun then. When's the opening ceremony?
I think it's probably on Sunday or Saturday or something.
No, I think it's
normally on a Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Okay, well let's say Friday then. I don't know.
just guess. Fuck
well,
it.
the Olympics it started already, so your guess is as good as mine.
The key is to sound as if you know what you're talking about. That's what I've been doing the whole time here.
It's fine.
It's
I
on
edit
Friday.
I edit it out.
It's on Friday. That's fine.
That's what I've been doing the whole time. I just
Just say it with confidence.
Just stand up for yourself, man. Yeah.
Okay, so that's on Friday. I'm gonna be tuning into that. The Olympics start on Sunday. The Olympic basketball starts on Sunday with
the basketball tournament.
The men's. Yes, sorry, men's basketball tournament starts on Sunday. USA versus France.
Actually,
opening game.
Is that no? The first game
Iran,
is
Czech Republic.
Iran versus Czech. Yeah.
Oh, what time's that on? Set my
2
alarm.
2 a.m. So that's the one I want to watch.
2 a.m. UK time. Go for it.
Wake up.
Do you know how many respect points I will send your way if you wake up at 2 a.m. and go watch Iran, Czech Republic?
What if I'm already up, Tom?
Just
How many
stay
points do I
awake.
get then?
Shit. No. You have to be fully asleep before.
He doesn't have.
Come
I have
on.
to set my alarm for it.
and
You
I
have
get
to
it.
set your alarm for it.
Okay. No. I get what he means. He means
Do you
for
know
me
what I
to
mean?
actually
Like,
go
you
out of my
cannot-
way to just get up for
Well,
the game.
France USA is at 1 p.m. right? So that's a good
1
game
p.m.
to watch. Also, on Sunday you have Australia, Nigeria at 9 in the morning. So that's good,
nice.
man.
Breakfast.
That's a good one to go watch at the pub, right?
At
Go
9
have
a.m.
breakfast at your local Wetherspoons. Yeah.
No.
Spend your £5. Spend your £5 in an unlimited breakfast.
I'd love you to rock up to your local Wetherspoons and.
Excuse
Can
me.
you play the
Can you play the
Australia-Nigeria game, please?
Is it cricket? No. No, it's basketball.
Get out.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to be covering the Olympics, so we will be covering the Olympics.
Yay.
Yes.
Giving you our
Just the
analysis.
basketball. Just the basketball.
You
Oh
say
yeah.
overselling.
Oh yeah.
The basketball and the skateboarding.
Water polo.
And women football. Softball? Are we doing softball as well?
And golf.
Oh yeah. Is that one of the new events?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Damn.
Wow.
Surfing too.
We could to be honest, we could cover the 3-on-3 as well, but
I was gonna say, are we
So
gonna
many
do
things.
3-on-3?
Oh,
It depends.
we should.
If we have time, I'll tune in. If we can walk what we can do, guys. And feel free to comment or message us on socials if you think this is a good or a bad idea.
Definitely.
We'll cover the the men's
Men's
tournament
tournament.
as we normally will, and then we can have a section or a segment towards the end of the pod where we sprinkle in other stuff we've seen, and that's when you can go crazy with your story of the diving.
I will take
And-
one for the team, Dave. Dave, I will watch women's volleyball for you guys. I will watch it.
Oh,
I will analyze
Indoor
these
or
games.
beach?
Beach.
no, beach.
Call me,
Have a guess,
call me
man. Have a
sexist.
fucking guess.
Call me sexist. I will take that one off
No,
your hands, guy.
I won't call you
I
sexist.
cancelled.
I'll call your wife, Tom.
Ah,
She'll be watching with
boom.
me. She'll be watching with me. We'll both go and look at the game, and I'll be like, "Look, you see that point
Sure.
game? It's amazing." The things you
But
do.
yeah, so yeah, we're gonna be covering that, and if we can work out time wise, we should do a live stream at some point.
Yes.
Watch
of some of
along.
one of the games,
Yeah.
or a watch
Medal
along.
games?
It's post Freedom
should watch
Day.
it.
Someone could host.
Ooh.
Could
You guys want to go for a road trip down to Caterham?
Are Argentina gonna win it all?
They're too
Of
old.
course. Come on.
Of course.
Come on.
Hey,
Of course.
Scholar was getting buckets against Team USA. Still.
Still.
He's always getting the buckets.
It's insane. It's insane. So much respect to him. Is this his 5th Olympics?
5th.
That puts him in such a
Fifth.
small,
Same as
small percentage of
yeah.
Olympians, period, that have been to 5 Olympics.
Well, Pau Gasol and Rudy Fernandez from Spain as well. It's going to be their 5th.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just
Tom doesn't like them, but
Reflex.
they're good players.
Yeah.
No.
Gasol is playing really well. I've seen him on
Insane.
playing the EuroLeague for Barcelona. He's playing the way he plays, right? He's just not physical. He was never a physical player, right?
Mhm.
But he's not injured now, so that's good enough for the amount of talent that this guy has.
Yeah.
So Spain is a contender, 100%.
What age did they start in the Olympics?
You can play at any age. Like, besides
he was-
football is the only sport where it's only under
Oh, okay.
23.
Yeah.
And you're allowed 2
You're allowed
players
two
or 3
professionals.
players over 23.
Mm.
The rest is just you see gymnastics, they play they don't play
They're
gymnastics.
teenagers.
it's
Yeah.
qualifications. It's
Yeah.
qualifications.
But
That's what
they're
they
like
do.
14,
Yeah.
15. Like as long as you get the right if you qualify, you can do it, you can go. So Scola actually his first Olympics was in 2004. Where he won the gold medal as well.
Mm.
And there you go, like the guy's 41.
Yeah. It's nuts, man.
Amazing.
One of the GB girl skateboarders is like 13.
There you go.
That's crazy.
And she just won the
Crazy
X
as well,
Games
like
as well.
13.
It's nuts.
Is she a hope
That's
for a
insane.
medal, or is
She's
she just
already a
I wish-
millionaire, basically.
That's what I'm saying. Like she just won the X Games. So
Oh wow, okay.
won. I think she medaled
Oh,
in
she-
the X Games. So
Oh, that's great. That's cool. That's interesting to watch.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
she's
You're gonna have to
pretty
tune in for some of that stuff. Hey, we can get our cross sports on.
good. Yeah.
Yes.
It's gonna be fun.
Looking good.
It's gonna be
Looking
fun.
good.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So
All
when
right.
we next we're gonna drop a podcast then.
Well, listen in,
Let the
fans.
people know.
Listen, fans.
Be there or be square. Get your tickets. I guess we'll do same time next week, and then try and do bi-weekly from there. From next week, I think that's the hope. Especially since I will be free from Friday. Cannot wait. And if you're listening to this, it's on the day we release it. It's my birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
If you want to add Dave on PlayStation, it's at.
Don't do that.
You want to send Dave a text? Text him on this number.
And his
Text
comment for any birthday cards.
If you want to
Thanks,
send
guys.
him a card, post him on this number.
All in the Patreon.
If you want Tom's OnlyFans account,
Yes.
follow him on this account.
It'll be in the description below on YouTube.
Watch him play.
All right, guys. Cool. I guess that's it. I didn't intro us, so I won't outro us. Bye. No, I'm joking.
Bye.
Everybody's out.
Coming home. It's coming home. Coming home.
Oh my God.
Stay humble, man. Stay.
Oh man. Congrats to Argentina on the Copa America.
Hey.
Yeah, I guess that's it. So we'll be back real soon. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. And we would love it even more if you would leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening to. If you're not sure what platform to use, just run over to Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review, please. Get us on social media at Grit and Grime Pod across all socials. I've been your host, David Sagoe. That is Thomas Arnal.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
That is Michael Downey.
Sure.
And that is Jose Garcia Vidal.
Bye.
So smooth with it.
Bye.